What's up guys, Matt here coming at you with my first video in the Scottsdale mod series. This is going to be a couple videos. Really, I'm just going to kind of talk about what I was going to do, and then we'll take a look at it when I'm done with it. I am going to try to get to the windows in this video and get to the interior to install this bench seat. So that's mostly what we're going to do today, is just pull the body and work on that, getting the bumpers on. And then depending on how long it's getting, I may work on, I think there's an internal spring in these shocks that I can pull out to kind of lower this a little bit, and we'll play around with lowering it some. This is my first straight out of the box brand new TF2, so I'm not good with these. It's just a chassis and things that I've never messed with. So we're gonna figure it out, but really today I want to get into this interior, so we're gonna see what's involved with that. And then at some point we're gonna fit this Fusion in here and try to get it to fit with the engine bay. I know a lot of people I see on Facebook, everybody asking, will the Fusion fit with the engine bay? So we're gonna see what that takes at some point and just get started with this thing. So like I said, I'm gonna start with getting into the interior on the bench. All right guys, so I'm new to this, like I said, so I'm kind of cutting out the, hey dummy, go here next clips, but there are 2 screws in the hood hinge and engine bay on each side. I pulled those and that released the engine bay itself. You have to kind of lift up, and then there's these 2 tabs are like slid into the front of the body there. That pulls this out, and then there's 2 screws here and here, and then I did remove these 2 screws already. These are going to be a little bit harder to get to. Luckily we have this MIP tip that should fit in there. Screws are very tight. Kind of break those screws loose, and hopefully our interior is going to be loose at that point. Oh yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Boom, interior is out. Oh, I'm getting excited, guys. So I think this is like part of the scale bug, is just getting into things like this. I do have a liner for the hood as well from ECB printing, so we may install that. I would like to get like some thin felt or something maybe to put in there, give it a little liner, but for now I have like this plastic piece. But I'd really like to at least get the driver's side out. So like I said, I'm learning as I go, guys. You're best off to just really pry the windows out. I used this really long screwdriver and just kind of got down in there with it through here and got up underneath it and just kind of twisted and pried, and the windows popped out. Because when I used the uncure, you can see maybe up underneath there how this is a little bit rough. So it actually ate some of the paint off using the uncure, and I painted that back with just a paint marker. It seemed to match well enough. Kind of just looks like an old truck, you know. I'll probably do that to the exterior once this thing gets some scratches. It seems like the paint is going to come off of this truck pretty easy. Somebody mentioned in a comment that the paint didn't do too well on these, so eventually it may get weathered. But I did get the windows out, got these cut and back in. We got the 2FM sticker on, and now we're going to work on the interior. All right, so when I was trying to remove these seats, I put some of this uncure for the glue down in here and tried to get some in there because these little tabs are like glued in place. Maybe if I'd have let it sit longer, when I pulled on this, they just broke off. So I just went ahead and did the other one. But they will fit back in there. If you wanted them to go back in, you could put a little glue on this and it would go back. But just going to toss those for now. The seat from ECB, you need 2 M2 screws. I'm using like an M2 by 9 or 10, I think, to bolt these together. I put a little bit of this Velcro on the seat because they kind of wanted to rattle around. Maybe once it was in the truck and pinched in place, it wouldn't, but it fits over the buckets and it would just kind of rattle. So I put a strip of that Velcro here and here, and then it doesn't keep the seat from sitting flush, but it keeps it from rattling. That way when the truck's going over bumps, we're not hearing that clankety clank, and we can easily remove the seat still when we want to do our seat covers on it. I decided to use this liquid chrome pin here. I think I got this at Hobby Lobby, maybe Amazon. I'll try to link it in the description, to just touch up a few things in here to make them kind of pop. As you can see, I need to hit the steering wheel a little bit better, but one of my favorite things, it just really made the shifter and the turn signal pop. Look at that. So that was just all black, and now it looks so much better. And look, don't make fun of me, guys. I'm not good at this stuff. I shake more than a dog freaking crapping razor blades. So, but I'm pretty happy with it. So just a little bitty touches until I get some material in here to do the seats and that sort of thing. But I thought while I had it apart, I'd add a little bit of depth to it with those few little touches. So I picked up some cloth at Hobby Lobby, some felt type stuff, I guess, and just trying to make it fit the floorboard here. So I'm going to cut a small hole here for the shift knob, kind of tucking it under the seats, and then I'm going to spray this with some glue, hopefully. So I'm hoping that'll kind of tuck under the seat like that. And then the glue will kind of hold the rest down. So I used this spray adhesive here. I think this came from Hobby Lobby a long time ago, and it works very well. It's pretty strong. I actually used it on the seat. As you can see, I've got the seat cover on. I basically just cut a piece of one piece of the material and sprayed the entire seat, and then just started sticking it on. I left a few little wrinkles in it here and there so that it kind of looked like a seat cover that wasn't, you know, that's bunched up in areas. And then for the floorboard here, I just kind of really pushed it down into the divots of the floorboard so that it's not like bubbled up. You know, it actually kind of follows the shape of the floorboard. And in the end, I think it turned out looking really good for, this is my first attempt at doing this much sort of work on an interior. So I am very thrilled with it for my first attempt. So I think it went in pretty well. You'll see I got a little bit of fold right there, but the steering column and dashboard piece actually covers that really well, so you don't even see it. So I really just wanted it to look its best around the seat, where it matches up to the seat, and then in the actual floor panel itself and around the shifter, and I think it turned out really good. I was going to cut off the extra on the edges, but I decided that it would fit fine in the truck with just kind of wrapping it around. So I just sprayed the backside a little bit, wrapped it around, and this adhesive works well enough that it actually held it. So it, you know, it wraps all the way around. You don't have any lines of the plastic. And I think it just worked out best doing it that way anyway. So I was thrilled that this adhesive was strong enough to actually hold those little pieces that I folded over here. So now that we got the floor and the seats done, we're going to attempt to put this on the dash. I just thought this kind of looked like an old dash somewhat, this material. I skinned it a little bit, like scuffed it, scored it, kind of picked at it to kind of make it look like some cracks in the dash. Hopefully this is going to glue on just fine and still fit in the truck, but I think it will look much better than this shiny plastic. So I actually just laid the dash down onto the backside of this material and traced around it. I ended up changing the shape just a little bit because I wanted on the passenger side it to kind of roll down over, down toward where the glove box would be. So I changed it a little bit, but that was the way I got my basic layout to cut my first piece. So you can see I cut a piece that will roll down over this edge, and I think that will look better. It's not perfect, but it's going to look better than this shiny plastic look, I think. I took the razor knife and just kind of scratched some spots in it so that it looked like it was kind of cracking and torn a little bit. I'm going to take this over there, spray the back side of it, and then just kind of glue it, work it into place. And we'll see how it looks. Hopefully we don't ruin this, but it's worth a shot. So here again, you'll see I'm just spraying it with a light coat of the spray adhesive, just enough to make sure it's going to stick well. And then I just laid it in place and kind of worked it all the way around until the glue kind of starts to really stick and hold it in place. And then I took some scissors and just kind of trimmed the edges up and continued to kind of press on it and hold it in place just to make sure that it stayed where I wanted it. And in my opinion, it ended up looking pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with it. You know, I could have did a little better maybe, but for my first attempt, I'm thrilled. So to make a little small boot here, I just stole the rubber off this ink pen, cut it down, and I'm going to glue it in place just like that. Just adds a little bit of detail. It's not perfect, but from outside the truck looking in, I think it'll be fine. It's really coming together now. So I went ahead and cut a strip of this material that I did on the dash for the top of the door as well. So on this one, if I can get it to where you can see it, you just kind of see the plastic. And then here, you can kind of see just the rubber detail, whatever. But I think it looks better than the plastic, shiny. Now on the inside, looking from this way, it don't look as good, but the dash will cover the front and the seat will cover the rear. So really, we're just gonna kind of see the top side view looking in right here, and it just looks much better. So I did a test fit, putting this back in the truck. It did fit perfect without any issue. And then I was going to see how this figure would fit in here because these are one of the smaller figures that I have. They work really well in tighter trucks, cabs. They are almost impossible to find now. They are the Street League skateboarders, and they work great. But if you look, I think these were like a Target only thing or something, but if you look in the right places, you can find them. Very hard to come by. I have one in my CJ body up there, and they just work really well. Like I said, they're just a little bit smaller than your normal like 6-inch figure. But when I was trying to put him in here, the way these steering wheels are angled down, like the steering wheel sits on the seat already. So to fix that, I just took this lighter right here that burns kind of like a little mini torch, and I heated this up, the steering column on the backside, you can see right there, and I just hit it a little bit and would pull on it and hit it a little bit and pull on it until it was warm enough that it moved, because you don't want to just melt all of this in here. But I got it to tilt up, and I think it looks fine. I mean, if you look real hard down there around the wheel column itself, you could see where it kind of bent the plastic, but from the outside, it's going to be fine. That got the steering wheel up off of the seat. Whether I can fit a driver in there or not, it just looked dumb with the wheel sitting on the seat. So problem solved. All right, so we got this looking pretty good, in my opinion. Hard to get it on camera, but it looks much better in there now. Dash didn't turn out too bad in my opinion either. So I am thrilled with it. Maybe next video we'll work on getting this. This is a liner for under the hood. I'm gonna try to work some of this underneath of it maybe, or I don't know. We'll see how we can make that look, but pretty pleased with how well that turned out. And then you'll see I've got some upgrades for the engine bay area to sort of help it. I'm going to try to do a little more detail work in there. Like I said, I'm not great with this stuff, guys, but I did get some of the Bilstein shocks. We're going to install those. Got some shock boots. I don't know if we're going to run those or not, but I just picked them up. Thought they'd be cool for other builds. And overall, I'm thrilled with this. Already got it lowered a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but it really wasn't much to that. So I don't know if I'm going to put that in a video or what, but got the Fusion and a new servo in here, lots of stuff done to it, so we'll cover that at some point. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys some of the work that we got done, And I appreciate you watching. Lots more to come with this, and obviously lots of other things coming soon. So appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell. Peace.